Hey everybody, and welcome back to Everyday a Project. Today we're going to be fixing my rickety front security door. The door is held in with 3 large lag screws. Over time, these screws have stripped out the threads in the wood and stucco they're attached to. You don't want just anyone to be able to remove your security door. The lag screws have heads that make it difficult to unscrew them. Since the screws are already loose, I'm able to use a pair of channel locks to grab the outside of the head and remove them. I'm doing my best not to scratch the paint on the door frame, but I probably will have to do some touch-up when I'm done. Next, I removed the nut that holds the auto-close mechanism's arm to the door frame. I made the mistake of trying to close the door without swinging the arm out of the way. There we go. Once it's moved out of the way, the door closes nicely. Before removing the screws that hold the door on, I place some scrap wood under it to hold it up for when the screws come out. I always keep some scrap wood and wooden wedges around. They come in handy for all kinds of projects. The top screw was actually broken in half, with the other half still stuck inside the wood. Now I know why it was so rickety at the top. The door was only being held on by 2 screws. This gave me another problem to solve. In order to put the new screws in, I needed to figure out how to remove the second half of the old one that was still stuck in there. I tried drilling it out, but my drill bit kept falling off the screw. Much of the wood and stucco around it had been worn away over time from the screw moving around every time the door was opened and closed. I decided to use a small drill bit to make a tiny hole in the piece of broken screw itself. Then I used a broken screw extractor in the tiny hole I had drilled to remove the piece that was still inside the wood. These are great tools to have around. I think I paid about $8 for mine, and I recommend picking one up the next time you have a need to remove a broken screw. Here, I used a chisel to square up the ragged hole that was left by the screw wearing away the wood and stucco, as well as my drilling earlier. Next, I used a shop vac to suck out any dust and debris left behind. Then I measured the hole with a pair of calipers. If you don't have calipers, a ruler or tape measure will work just fine. Now I need to cut a piece of wood to fit the square hole we just made. I marked the width of the wood using the calipers and adjusted the table saw to the correct width. If you don't have a table saw, a hand saw will work just fine. This also gave me an opportunity to use my new double height feather board to hold the wood in place while I pushed it through the saw. It's always fun when you get to play with one of your new toys. Now I need to measure the depth of the hole so I know how long to cut the wooden plug. I used a combination square, but again, a standard ruler or tape measure is just fine. I used a hand saw to trim the plug to the correct length. When working with small pieces, I prefer using hand tools to power tools. There's a lot that can go wrong with power tools when using tiny pieces, and I don't want my hands anywhere near the blades when that happens. The inside of the hole had some wood sticking out, so I chamfered one edge of the plug to compensate for it. Now I need to glue the plug in the hole. I had some leftover construction adhesive from another project I'd done, so I thought I'd use that. Unfortunately, the glue in the tip had dried, and when I tried to remove it, the whole tip came off. I didn't have any other glue around, and I didn't want to run to the store, so I decided to just deal with the mess. Sometimes, you just gotta work with what you got. The fit was a little snug, so I used a mallet to drive the plug home. I should have just shaved the plug down a little, as I ended up putting a hairline crack in the stucco. Be mindful of this if you have to do a similar repair. I wiped up the excess glue with some shop towels. I highly recommend wearing gloves when doing this. I got glue on my hands and it didn't come off for a few days. Luckily, our other screw holes weren't worn out the same as the top one was. I drilled out the holes to accommodate some doweling rod I bought at a home improvement store. I stuck the dowel in the hole and marked the depth. Next, I cut the dowel off with a handsaw. I then used a hand plane to chamfer the edge of the dowel. It's always a good idea to do this so that the dowel will enter smoothly into the hole you're pounding it into. One of the problems I had was that the drill bits for my electric drill weren't long enough for the lag screws. Luckily, I've got an old set of antique auger bits for use with my bit and brace. I honestly use this tool more than you might think. They have great torque for drilling large diameter holes, they're cordless but never need charging, and are just a lot of fun to own and use. If you don't own one of these, just run to the store and buy a longer drill bit for your modern drill. Now to put the door back on. I decided to put the middle screw in first and then line up the door using wood blocks and a ratcheting tie-down strap for support. Once everything was lined up, I ran the drill through the pre-existing holes in the security door frame to make sure that my new top and bottom screw holes would be right where I wanted them to be. I used a large flathead screwdriver to reinstall the screws. Once I got them in, I needed a little extra leverage to really torque them down. Most good screwdrivers have a hex section at the top of the shank to allow you to use a wrench to get some extra torque. That's what I did here, but because security screw heads are a little different than normal flathead screws, I really had to press down hard to keep the head from slipping up and out of the slot. Now it's time to reconnect the auto close arm to the door frame. When I closed the door for the first time, I noticed that it didn't quite latch. It's a problem I had been having when it was rickety, but I'd hoped that would be solved by my repair. It looks like I didn't install the door quite high enough compared to where it had been when it was sagging. In order to avoid removing the door and doing the whole repair over again, I decided to adjust the hole in the door frame. I closed the door while holding up a metal file to see how much lower the latch was than the hole in the door frame. I used that file to remove about a 32nd of an inch of metal so the latch would clear. Success! My door now closes and stays closed. Well, there you have it, another project completed. Now that you've seen me do it, I hope you try it for yourself. Until next time, I wish you enjoyment and success in all your projects.